Welcome to the Ideal Investor Show. Challenge your mindset and discover where you are. Let's go. One of the things that we oftentimes talk about, or at least frequently, I would say, and that is also mentioned in our book and many other documents in our newsletter, is the time freedom point. And one of the most important words in this term, time freedom point, is obviously the word time. And I'm sure most, if not all of you, have heard or read or seen the statement, you can never get time back. You can trade for time. You cannot buy time. Everybody has the same amount of time. So fundamentally, that is obviously true. And I agree with that as well. So what is then really the differentiating factor when it comes to time, and why is time freedom point so important to us? So when it comes to time, the real big deal about it is, how do you spend it? What do you do with the time that you have on this planet? And lots of people, basically, when you really think about it, are born and they are relatively dependent on their family until they're probably something like about 13, 14, 15 years old, as far as really needing the protection, a place to live, somebody who is providing food and so forth. Then between 13, 14, 15, and for most people about 25, is when you could do something different. You could do an apprenticeship. And in the older times, it was pretty common that kids started apprenticeships, especially in Europe, around like 13, 14, 15 years old. But nowadays, you go to school, you're still in high school. And then for many, many people, you end up going to college or to the university. So sometime in your 20s, you get out of that. And the vast majority of people, after they get out of basically being raised and being done with school, they basically now start trading their time for money by giving it to an employer. And so now the employer is basically the one who is getting your time, and in return you get money. And that takes you, at least according to the government in the United States right now, to 67. So somewhere around 40 to 42 years, you're trading time for money. And then depending on how old you get, let's say you're making it to 87, you have 20 years where you have worked and hopefully put enough aside and make investments so that you can live off Social Security and whatever retirement money you put aside, so that you have 20 years out of 87 years that you can really use your time for whatever you like. And this is where this whole concept of time freedom point and time in the context of investing fits in and comes in, because what we are actually basically trying to do is to increase the number of these about 20 years. And that's why real estate is such a beautiful thing, because it's not just for you. If you can retire from exchanging time for money for a job, because you have a real estate portfolio that you build, and let's say you build it and got it to have enough income on a monthly basis to replace your work income at 47, that's 20 extra years. So instead of 20 years freedom, you have 40 years freedom. If you get that done with 57, you have 10 extra years. If you are lucky and started early enough, if you are currently in your 20s and you're listening to us and you're working on this, you might even get it done at 37 or maybe 40. So that's really what the time freedom is. To gain the freedom to do with the time what you want and no longer having any need to exchange it for money. And that's what we want to help you doing by helping you to make these investments, by helping you have your own LLC, by helping you all to do all the things and get to know the things and get access to our network, so that you can be one of the lucky ones who has way, way, way more than just 20 years of self-directed time. So that's it for today. Be well and stay safe, and I talk to you tomorrow.